Hello and welcome to Geek Philosophy. So this week has been a major week for the comic book industry and geekdom in general. We're going to give you the highlights out of San Diego Comi-Con 2018. And we're going to talk about, in this one, we're going to talk about the winner. I'm going to go ahead and say the winner of Comi-Con, which is...
I think you could say that easily.
DC and Warner Brothers collaboration this week. We're going to just give you the highlights. We can't cover everything because if we did, we'd literally be here for 3 days, and we've had 3 days of filming to do. No one wants to watch us for a full 72 hours.
We're interesting, but I don't think we can keep your attention for that long.
So, we're going to go over some of the headlights and highlights, and, please, if you think we missed something, put it in the comments. Put your own philosophies down if you think it wasn't that hype or anything, but... let's really get into it. And let's start with the biggest one. I think the biggest chip, which is DC Universe price.
Yeah.
We have a price. So
and it's a good one.
So there's two options. You have the monthly, which is $7.99, which is pretty much the same as basic Netflix. Mm-hmm. And then you have the annual, which is $74.99, which gets you a full year and then plus 3 free months. So you get 15 months for $75. This is a good deal.
Yeah, I mean, there's really no reason why anybody should at least try it out, especially given the content. And like we discussed before, the with these sort of things, it's only going to expand on content from here.
Yeah.
So if you like the amount of stuff you're getting initially for that price, it's only going to get better. And the backlog of comics.
I think that's the key initiative for me is the comic book library. They haven't really published a full list of everything that's going to be on there. But there was a rumor that's everything from Action Comics issue 1 from 1930 all the way to Rebirth.
Right.
Which is literally a couple years ago. So that's a pretty big library in my opinion. And honestly, I get my money back that way because I can literally go back and read. I should be able to read at least 10 comics I haven't read before every month. And if you went out and found those comics and tried to pay for it, you're looking at like $40. $3.99, $10, yeah, it's about $40. Mm-hmm. When I'm paying $7.99 a month now to read as many comics as all that comic library.
Right, that's nothing for anybody to complain about.
No.
So
but now I know a lot of fans are concerned about the entertainment, like the TV and animation content, that there's not enough. I mean, they're bringing back an HD version of Batman animated series, all the way up to 4K. They're bringing back Justice League. They're bringing back all these animated cartoons, and they're also bringing back some shows like Wonder Woman 77. They're bringing back Lois and Clark, The Adventures of Superman. They got the Tim Burton Batmans on there. Like, it's good content on there. And they have all the animated movies, which DC's always done very well with. So you can watch all the new stuff, even, I think, the Death of Superman, which is the latest one, I think is going to be on there day one. So
right. I think between going back for that price, between going back and reading a backlog of comics that you might have missed, or catching up or refreshing your memory on some of those stories, and then having the new content that they're making specifically for this platform. And then in between, if you have some downtime and you just want to go back and kick back and relax, you have all of those old classic DC movies, between Batman, Superman, like you said, the Wonder Woman series, Lois and Clark, which was pretty popular when that was in the early mid-90s.
Mid-90s, it was pretty popular for what it was.
I mean, they kind of made a soap opera style thing out of Superman, and they got people like my mom, for instance, was a big fan of that show, and they got her to tune in every week to a Superman show, which is kind of an achievement on its own, I guess.
Yeah, I think including the old Superman movies are on there too, Christopher Reeves and so forth. So I think the value's definitely there. They didn't overprice it. I literally thought it was going to be like $12.99 or $15.
Yeah, my guess was like $14.99, $15.99. So
they said we're going to be competitive. We're going to be close to Netflix, and we're going to give all this content. And then they also added, originally it was 5 new shows. They added a 6th one, which is going to be Stargirl. They're going to come out with a live-action version of that. But the main show that they're going to be really focused on in the beginning of this, I think, is Titans.
Right.
And we got to see a trailer of that. So, a lot of mixed feelings from the community on what's going on with Titans.
Yeah, we had quite a few people, comment, express their concerns about it. But I think you said it best when you replied to one of the people on our page was that it is a television show. It's not something where it's set in stone. This is what it's going to be. Mm-hmm. They can evolve things as it goes on. One of the arguments I've heard is that it's too dark or too gritty. And honestly, I don't understand that argument because when you look at the other DC films and they had that darker tone to them, a lot of people, some people didn't like that tone. But the problem is when you look at how much money, the way the fans responded to them, the one that lifted up on that tone, got really lighthearted, was Justice League, and that did not do well at the box office. When you compare that to Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, even Suicide Squad, had a lot of humor to it, but it was relatively dark.
Yeah, it was.
So I don't buy that argument that the fans don't want to see a dark DC series.
And I if you look at even Marvel's thing, when they do their television shows,
right,
most of the television shows, especially on a streaming network like Netflix,
mm-hmm.
are dark on the darker side.
Yeah, I mean most of those are pretty solid R-rated.
Yeah,
darker.
So
shows.
now we're getting pretty much an R-rated Titans show, which mm-hmm. Titans, a lot of people like to remember the Cartoon Network show Teen Titans. They like to remember Teen Titans Go right now. It's okay to have something a little bit darker for the more mature, and I think a lot of people are making a lot of memes of a certain person using the potty mouth. But honestly, if you know the history of Batman and Robin and Dick Grayson, he left Batman for a while. He said he was fired or he quit. So yes, he did probably say Batman.
Yeah. And I mean, realistically, if Batman and Robin, they're all the more realistic versions of superheroes. Do you really think that a superhero never lets it slip sometimes and lets a cuss word out? I mean, not everybody's meant for Nickelodeon or something. So I have no problem with it.
Then a lot of people are getting on the special effects of certain characters or the looks of certain characters. We have to remember this is not animated. Starfire can look the way she looks. I know her wig is a little off, but the special effects that they showed her using her powers, it looked pretty good. I mean, Beast Boy looked like he was all green. That looked good. Mm-hmm. Like, it looks more grounded, more realistic, and it's set in live action. Like, we gotta remember, if we're doing live action, we are going to be limited to certain things. So I'm not going to judge it hard right now. I'm going to wait. We got 13 episodes, I think, in the first one. 10 or 13 episodes. So I'm going to wait till the first episode comes out, because I'm signing up for DC Universe. I'm just going to put it out there. I'm on. Yeah. So,
I don't think the special effects look particularly bad.
No,
and
it's a television show,
right? It's a television show that's launching a whole network essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So I think in the grand scheme of things, production values look a lot better than what I
honestly.
Thought.
When it comes to TVs, I want to see more character development than special effects anyway.
Right.
So if they looks like the story is going to be focused a lot on Dick Grayson and Raven.
Mm-hmm.
So if they do really grow the characters and you see the growth and depth, I'm gonna overlook a couple things.
Yeah. So we'll obviously be getting a lot more information on that because we have a launch date.
They haven't released an official launch date yet. We're still looking at fall, so this is anywhere between mid-August to late September, I think.
Yeah. So really not that far away in the grand scheme of things. So, yeah.
Now let's talk about a trailer that did not get any bad reviews whatsoever.
No.
Young Justice Outsiders. So this series was amazing on Cartoon Network, and it was a little bit before its time. It was a little bit more mature and couldn't really get toy sales, so it was canceled.
Yeah.
So an older audience was watching it, and the audience fought hard to get this show back.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was petitions. They binge watched it on Netflix over and over again and be like, Netflix, pick this up, right. Finish it. The fandom should be happy. We are getting a third season. We have a trailer, and it looks amazing.
Yeah.
There's so much in that trailer. They didn't just give us here's a little bit. a little teaser. No, they gave us a lot.
Yeah. Well, when you posted it on our Facebook page, and I text Don immediately, and I was just like, "There's so much in that to break down. There's so much going on." They had a little bit of a recap of some of the things that
little
happened.
recap. It was weird. I'm noticing DC did this. DC and Warner Bros. Did this a lot this year. They did 5-minute trailers where half the trailer was recapping what happened last time, and the other half was actually the new footage.
Yeah.
So a little annoying in my perspective. If you want a refresher, we just finished binge watching Young Justice because we tried to get this on Netflix.
Right.
So I remember everything that happened. But
I'm sure a lot of that, with it being an animated series, and we're looking at a 2019 date, they probably didn't have a whole lot to show off, but they wanted to get it out there.
Well, it looked like they had They looked like they had enough to show off to get us excited, and it worked. Yeah. We're excited. We're looking forward to it. We still don't know how they're gonna break this out, whether it's gonna be episodic or if it's gonna be binge. Honestly, if I was in the boardroom, I would make it episodic. Just to keep the people on the streaming service.
That goes for all of their content, right? We're not sure. Yeah, so I know I'm not a fan of the hybrid system where I like either drop it all at one time so we can binge watch it, or give us a show every week, which I think would make more sense for an early platform because they want to keep you tuned in. Every week you want to tune in.
But there's a difference. There's some shows that are really made to be binge. Like the way you format it, and I think Runaways was the perfect example. That should have been binge.
Yeah.
They didn't. Yeah. They left you at such a cliffhanger that it was like you really needed to just go ahead and go into the next episode right away.
Right.
But I don't know. I think when I was listening to one interview with the creators, they said it was a little different because they had to go ahead and make these episodes without commercials. That was one thing that they've been working on. So
as long as they don't do the thing where they break the season in half, where you get a half of it up front, and then you have to wait 6 months or something like that for the last half. I'm not a big fan of that, and I don't think it does well for their platform or for the series. So,
but DC, you got my money. I'm signing up.
Yeah.
Yep, and going into the comic book, because that's what this is about. What's Comi-Con started about? Comic books.
Right.
So, Tom King came out and talked a little bit more about Heroes in Crisis, which is going to be the next crossover event for DC. I cringe a little bit every time I hear Crisis because we've gone through so many different crises, whether it's Crisis on Infinite Earth and Infinite Crisis and Final Crisis, and I don't know how many crises y'all can go through.
How many more can we have?
But looks like this one's more focused on the characters and how they deal with loss. There's apparently going to be a place called the Sanctuary where superheroes and people of the community can go in there and not necessarily have putting on masks that another mask than they already have, and talk about their loss and really go through a therapy session on how they deal with PTSD, which is interesting to me.
Yeah.
Different take on it. So, and Tom King has experiences in the army and so forth, and he's come back and wrote the story. So I'm looking forward to it, to see that side of the superhero realm.
Yeah, I mean, this is something totally different, which I think we should all give them credit for because, too often do they just kind of rehash an old idea. It's just because it's been a decade, we can do it again.
Like, how many times can the world be a danger? Like, let's talk about the people that actually deal with the saving, because not every time are they saving everybody. There's some loss, and then there's some people that lose a member of the community, and we have to deal with it. So, I think this is going to be an interesting take. So I'm looking forward to that. And then we also have DC's Black Label. We got a little bit more information on that. Looks like more of the adult variety graphic novels. So think of this as your parents' stuff all the way at the top, and you get that shelf. Black Label.
Yeah.
So we're getting amazing writers like Frank Miller, Scott Snyder, and so forth and so on. So I'm looking forward to how they're really going to be launching this. I think DC is focusing on more of a way to reinvigorate the comic book industry, but sell in a different way. I think by more graphic novel sets, and they're doing this also with DC Ink and DC Zoom for young adult audience and the middle school audience by releasing more graphic novels to make it more like a book. So, looking forward to that.
Then we have some of the movies. We're kind of moving into the because this is a combined DC and
Brothers.
Warner Brothers list. So we have Godzilla, King of the Monsters.
Oh, that was so good.
So and we have the actress who plays Eleven on Stranger Things.
Mm-hmm.
She's joining in. Seems like we're losing everybody from the previous Godzilla movie except for Ken Watanabe. Watanabe, I think I'm saying
only
that correctly.
Ken Watanabe and Godzilla came back.
So yeah, we've joked about before with how in the first movie you had Bryan Cranston in 90% of the trailer, but in reality he was only in 15 or 20 minutes of the movie. So that was a little bit of a weird marketing ploy. But this whole trailer, everything.
This whole trailer seemed like they was like, there's no secrets. We're gonna go ahead because we did the Godzilla the first movie.
Right.
Most of the trailer was part one, like the first scene of the movie. This one seems to give you everything, a little bit of everything, and then it looks like we're gonna have several monsters in this. We're gonna have Mothra. We're gonna have Rodon. We're gonna have Hydra.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to this.
Is that what King Ghidorah?
King Ghidorah. Yeah, it seems like this is going to be a straight up monster bash movie, and I'm all in. I'm sold.
Yeah, like you don't really need a ton of story. We just need to kind of know why it's all going on. But let's just have fun. Like Pacific Rim. I went in to see the Jaegers. Battling the kaijus, that's why you go, because it's fun. I don't need it.
There's movies where you just go to enjoy popcorn. There's movies that you go just for entertainment, and there's movies you go for to see if they're Oscar worthy. This is not going to be an Oscar worthy movie. I don't want it to be. I want it to be a straight Godzilla fighting everybody and kicks everyone's behind.
Right. And I like they kind of sprinkled some I forget which song it was now. It's been a day or so since I've watched the trailer, but it's kind of like a weird, creepy take on, I think it was a nursery rhyme or something that's playing in the background during the trailer. I
was so awestruck by all the monsters I didn't even listen to.
It's one of those where you need to go back and watch it multiple times because there's so many
Honestly,
hints
I think
to the
all
different
these
monsters.
trailers that came out this week, it's like you need to watch multiple times.
Yeah.
If you want to, please go to our Facebook page on Geek Philosophy. We have all the trailers there. You can binge watch them over and over again.
Yep.
But after that, we have Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
all you Harry Potter fans out there.
Yeah, I mean, the saga continues.
Yeah, we'll not let this man die. Y'all keeping J.K. in work.
Well, so what's fun about this is because with the Harry Potter movies were on a slight delay from the books. Mm-hmm. So you'd have a book drop, and then maybe a year or 2 or 3 afterwards, depending on which movie it was, the movie would come out. So in most cases, you could breeze through the book and have a general idea of. The movies were pretty faithful to what the books were, but in this case, it's fun because it's still in that wizarding world of Harry Potter, although it's decades before he was born. I think it's 1920s.
Yeah. But
this is fun because we don't know what to expect until you go into the theater. There is no novelization of these books ahead.
And it looks like we're going to different cities. Last movie was in New York.
Yep.
Looks like this one's in Paris.
Yeah.
And honestly, it looks like Johnny Depp is just having so much fun.
Yeah. Got the bleach blonde hair, playing a villain, which you don't see him playing too many villains.
It's been a while since we've seen him play a villain. But he's definitely still in that franchise mode. He knows how to work with a franchise.
Right.
So I'm looking forward to it. It's got my attention, and I'm not a Harry Potter fan. I'm really not.
Yeah.
But these movies seem to be getting my attention a little bit more.
Yeah, and we get to see how he goes with the character because it was through all but the last 5 or 10 minutes of the first movie, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. It was Colin, the Irish actor, playing that character, and then it's revealed to be Grindelwald the entire time, who is Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
So this is going to be fun. I'm excited about it. And I wasn't somebody who necessarily camped out for the Harry Potter movies, but it's still something that I'm definitely going to see. Mm-hmm. So, then we're moving on. Go ahead.
So DC. So we've been calling we kind of been weird of what we've been calling the DC Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
It's not MCU. MCU is just you know exactly what that is. But we've been doing DC EU, the Extended Universe. We don't know what to call it. And with so many different reports, they finally said, you know what, we rebranding this. This is going to be the Worlds of DC. So DC has come out and said that their movies, universe, everything they do is the Worlds of DC.
Yeah. It's an interesting take. It doesn't roll off the tongue as easy. It's not as catchy as MCU.
Does it? But I feel like that's a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
Like DCEU was a little weird. Worlds of DC, it alludes to the whole multiverse thing.
Yeah.
Which I want them to go ahead and use that as their board. That you don't need to interlink all the movies.
Right.
So having the Worlds of DC and having their different stories, and you don't have to worry about everything being connected right now, I think is the way to go. That way they're not trying to copy Marvel so much.
Right.
So.
But yeah, at least we have a proper name now,
Mm-hmm.
not just going back and forth. So then we have some trailers.
Woo, we got some trailers from DC.
About.
I think this is what helped DC win. But not only just the DC Universe thing, but I think releasing some trailers and giving us an idea what direction they're going to go in.
Mm-hmm.
So first one's Shazam. Yes, Zachary Levi is Shazam, and we are full on with it. It was a fun trailer. I enjoyed it. I'm not going to speak for him.
It was a fun trailer, but I'm not sold. I don't know.
Sold.
But I think that's more of me just not being so into Shazam. I mean, I'm just my thing is trying to figure out how these all fit in together with the more serious.
See, this is why we need the Worlds of DC,
right?
So we don't have people like Clay trying to mix them all together right now.
Well, it's because we know that Shazam in this movie is going to eventually be interacting with Superman, Batman, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Flash, everybody, and we have. Like you mentioned, Flash is kind of the comic relief right now. Mm-hmm. I'm guessing Shazam will be that and maybe more eventually.
I think it's going to be more because, the Flash was really the comic relief because he was seen to be the youngest of the group. Even though I feel like Cyborg should have been the youngest, but whatever.
Yeah, that's true. Well, my other gripe, too, is it's not anything against Zachary Levi, at least. Just trying to picture him as... as a superhero is a little hard to do. Although he was a kind of superhero in the Thor movies, he played one of Thor's Warriors 3. But it's the suit. It just kind of looks like it's the stuffed suit. And I'm not
it does look like you put a suit on and then they just start using a basketball pump and start pumping it up a little bit. You
pop the suit and it deflates on him, and I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm sure I'll almost certainly like it. I'll definitely see it. It's just right now I'm not as excited as what I had hoped I would be.
Because I feel like this is the Ant-Man of DC, because it's going to bring that comedy element because it's meant to be comedy.
Right.
Like, you're talking about a kid.
I think you're right on that.
A kid that gets magic powers to become a superhero. Like, that's as ridiculous as a guy shrinking down to an ant.
Yeah.
And you see the cast is having fun with this, like, the wizard comes up, you are my champion, you just say my name. And he's like, dude, what's your name? Shazam. You serious? Like, those little quips and so forth, that's what's going to make this.
Yeah, you're right, because with Ant-Man worked because it recognized how ridiculous it was. Mm-hmm. And it poked fun at itself. So as long as Shazam is able to do that, I'm sure, because this is DC's version of some of the weird ones, like, Marvel pulled off Ant-Man. They pulled off Guardians of the Galaxy. Movies that, when I first heard they were making Guardians, for instance, I was trying to think, like,
I thought they were out of their mind.
Yeah, Groot and Rocket Raccoon, how is that going to be okay on film? And they nailed it.
Yeah.
So, sure, I'm not as excited as what I had hoped to be, but I'm sure that I will like it in the long run.
It gave me hope. But the trailer that really took it away for DC.
Yeah.
Which I haven't seen one person complain. Aquaman.
Yeah.
Jason Momoa has dropped that trailer. He let out the director, James Wan. Looks like he did an amazing job. It looks like it's going to be a fun roller coaster ride. Like, you're going to be able to go on the adventure, see what he goes through, and it's just going to be fun.
Right. The action is there. It looks like there's some humor in between. Atlantis looks amazing.
It looks like a Wakanda. It's DC's Wakanda.
Yeah.
And we saw how amazed people were with Wakanda, so I'm expecting people to be amazed with Atlantis, even though it doesn't have the racial references and so forth. But
it's funny that you mentioned that because the Atlantis is kind of DC's Wakanda, but from what we know so far about this story, it's basically Black Panther in reverse.
Yeah.
If Killmonger was the good guy, because that's essentially what.
And y'all
Aquaman
know y'all
is.
wanted Killmonger to be the good guy, so
Right.
That's even more reason to join it.
Yeah, I mean, this is basically Aquaman, coming back to claim his throne.
And it doesn't hurt to have a heartthrob like Jason Momoa. I mean, it doesn't hurt to have something that ladies can look at, be like, yeah.
It definitely makes it easier to try and convince your wife to go to the movies on these things. But yeah, it looks fun. I can't wait. And that is December 21st, I believe.
Yeah, 21st around Christmas. So there's quite a few movies coming out around Christmas that I just put together. Like, we never really had this many movies around Christmas, so this should be interesting.
That is true. What is the date for Shazam? Have they?
Shazam is April.
Okay, so then we have we have Aquaman, followed by
should be Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel, yeah. If you want to count a comic book movie, we could also say Glass, because Glass is in January. Not one of the big Marvel or DC's. And then we have Captain Marvel, and then we have Shazam, and then we have Avengers 4.
Avengers 4.
Yeah. So it's a packed winter rolling into the spring.
Yeah, which is interesting because then we have Wonder Woman look like coming out next summer. Mm-hmm. So it looks like might have something all year round next year.
Yeah, just about.
Because it looks like Marvel's going to focus, or DC's going to focus on a 3-movie strategy too. Because next year the 3 movies is going to be Shazam, Wonder Woman 84, and the Joker movie. So you got one in every trimester.
Yeah.
So
lots to look forward to, and like we said, I think DC ran away with this.
Yeah.
With this Comic-Con.
The only thing they have to do is just make sure the movies land right. That's the thing. Like, we've been hyped before. Keep some things a secret. Let the epicness seep out on the trailers. Get people excited so they can be there opening day. Don't focus on the failures. I think DC done a good job of, all right, we're moving in a different direction. Let's not think about what Justice League could have been. Like, that's why they're not releasing the Snyder. I think that's why they're not releasing the Zack Snyder cuts.
Right.
Because it's like, that's the past.
Well,
let's move on to the future.
So, since you brought that up, I think, was it Jason Momoa or Henry Cavill? One of them said recently that the Snyder cuts wouldn't have made a difference in the story. And I would argue that that's even more of a reason to let it out then. If they can release it, we can see the other version of the movie, and it doesn't mess with any continuity for the next films, then why not?
I think there's still a lot of unfinished stuff, so you have to pay people to finish it up, and then you're going to put it out, and you're still not going to get that much sales out of it. I think that's the more... Because Henry Cavill pretty much said, like, from a business standpoint, I'm not going to make more money by releasing it.
Right.
I'm going to spend more money by releasing it versus make more money. So
yeah, I don't know. We'll have to wait.
People are interested in the Snyder Cut, but I think WB is focusing and be like, look, that's the past. Right. We move on with this next generation, which starts with Aquaman.
Right.
So, and what we saw in the trailers, what they're going to give us, they did the right thing.
Yeah, and they still have months and months to work on all that CG, which is already looking great.
Yeah.
So, well, obviously, stay tuned to the channel, and we'll keep you up to date on all those things as new trailers come out, new information becomes available.
Yeah, stick around. But again, tell us what you think. Give us your philosophies down below in the comments. Do you think we were wrong? Do you think Shazam was more popular? Do you think we were wrong about Young Justice? Give us your opinions of what you thought was the biggest highlight for DC and Warner Brothers this weekend. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our page. Hit that bell button so you can be notified as soon as our videos come out. And then we'll be in the comments with you, chatting it up and so forth. So, this is Don, Clay, Geek Philosophy, Geek Way of Thinking. Have a great day, y'all. Bye. Thank you for stopping by Geek Philosophy. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up button, put your philosophies in the comments, and also hit that subscribe button so you can be notified of all future videos. Thanks for stopping by Geek Philosophy, the geek way of thinking.